A BBC host ripped into the EU's demands on fisheries in the deadlocked Brexit trade talks, as Mashal Hussain questioned why the EU expected nothing to change when Britain was taking back control of its waters. BBC host Mashal Hussain condemned the EU for expecting nothing to change on fisheries amid the ongoing deadlock in Brexit trade talks. She criticised the EU's behaviour on fisheries in a heated interview with Neil Richmond, who led the Irish Senate's Brexit Committee, on the BBC's Today programme. This follows fears in Downing Street that Michel Barnier has lost his grip on the fishing negotiations. Hussain said that it was baffling that Brussels wanted the status quo to continue on fishing, given that Britain overwhelmingly wanted to take back control of its waters. She said, "It does seem that what the EU wants is the status quo on fishing, and yet there cannot be the status quo. Brexit will involve a completely different relationship between the UK and EU." The Irish senator struggled to respond, only insisting, "We aspire for an agreement on both sides." Hussain followed this up, "Why should the EU continue to have full access for its boats in British waters?" Mr. Richmond responded, "It is what we are trying to negotiate. The UK cannot have an agreement that just suits the UK. The EU is the world's largest economic bloc and the benefits of a deal are far greater for the UK than the EU. We do want to intensify the talks, we want to get an agreement. The British approach has shifted so many times over the last number of years. We have been consistent, we have been clear. We won't simply allow the EU be compromised or undermined by the UK in this agreement." Daniel Kaczynski, Conservative MP also on the interview, said that the EU had left the British fishing industry decimated since European vessels had plundered our fishing stocks. He said, "The fact they expect and demand the status quo shows the sheer level of arrogance of these people." Both Mr. Richmond and Mr. Kaczynski blamed each other's negotiators for their intransigence in the talks. Mr. Kaczynski added, "We have seen the damage that staying in the EU has caused to our sovereignty and our economy by these continuous delays." Mr. Richmond admitted that the EU fully accepts that chances of an extension are absolutely impossible despite recent demands from Nicola Sturgeon.